Today, we're going to talk about a really strange phenomenon, one that links something as simple as a mirror to the absolute deepest parts of your brain. So let me ask you a question. It's a little weird, I know, but have you ever just stared at your own reflection for a bit too long? Maybe the room was dimly lit, and you got this weird feeling that the person looking back at you wasn't exactly you. Well, if you have, you are definitely not alone. There's actually a name for this. It's called the strange face illusion. A researcher named Giovanni Caputo found that when people do this, just stare at their own face in low light, their brain starts to play some serious tricks, cooking up all kinds of bizarre and frankly, kind of creepy images. So what in the world is going on here? Is it just your eyes getting tired, or is it something deeper? Well, the first place scientists looked for an answer was, naturally, psychology. The theory that we might literally be coming face to face with our own unconscious mind. The big idea here is a concept from Jungian psychology called projection. Basically, it's the idea that we all have these hidden bits of our personality, thoughts and feelings that we don't even admit to ourselves. Projection is when our brain unconsciously takes those hidden parts and, well, projects them onto something or someone else. In this case, right onto our own reflection. So, according to this theory, that monstrous face you see, or the face of an ancestor you've never met, that could actually be your shadow self. You know, all the unacknowledged, hidden pieces of you bubbling up to the surface. It's a pretty wild idea, right? That the mirror is acting like a movie screen for our own inner world. Okay, so psychology gives us one piece of the puzzle. It's a fascinating one, for sure. But it still leaves you wondering, what is physically happening inside our skulls to create these visions? To answer that, we have to jump from psychology into neuroscience. And to really get what's going on, we need to meet a major player in your brain's operating system. It's called the default mode network, or the DMN for short. The easiest way to think about the DMN is to imagine it's your brain's screensaver. You know, it's the network that automatically turns on whenever you're not focused on a specific task in the outside world. It's what's running when your mind is just wandering. And what's this screensaver up to? Oh, you know, just running your entire inner world. It's the part of your brain that's responsible for daydreaming, for drifting off, for remembering what you had for breakfast, for planning your weekend, even for guessing what your friends are thinking. It's basically the engine of your internal monologue. So if the DMN is our brain's default setting, here's the big question. Can we change it? Can we train it? And it turns out the answer is yes. This is where something like meditation comes into play. It's like taking this specific brain network to the gym. And we know this because an NIH study actually scanned the brains of long-term meditators. And what they found was pretty amazing. Their DMN activity was just different. There was less activity in the main hub of the network, the part linked to that random mind wandering. And at the exact same time, there was more activity in the areas that handle focus and self-control. But here's where it gets really interesting. The study didn't just find that meditation changes your brain while you're meditating. It discovered that over time, it can actually rewire your brain's fundamental baseline settings. And that's the huge difference between a temporary state and a permanent trait. Let's break that down. A state change is temporary. It's in the moment, like feeling calm while you're meditating. A trait change, though, that's the real deal. That's a lasting, long-term upgrade to your default settings. It means you're just a calmer person in general, even when you're stuck in traffic. And you can literally see this in the data. The study measured how long the DMN network pattern stayed active. For the regular folks, the controls, it was about 93 milliseconds. But for the meditators, even when they were just resting and not doing anything, it was already up to 119. That's the trait change. Their baseline is different. Then when they actually started meditating, it jumped even higher. That's the state change on top of their new rewired brain. So the big takeaway here is just powerful. That temporary feeling of focus and calm you get from meditation, it doesn't just disappear. With enough practice, your brain says, hey, I like this, and it gets baked right into your default operating system. Okay, so let's bring it all back home. Back to you, a mirror, and that strange face staring back. Now that we understand a little more about the brain, we can see that whole illusion in a completely different light. That experience, it isn't just a random visual glitch. It's not just your eyes playing tricks on you. Turns out, the mirror is reflecting something way deeper than your physical features. Those strange faces, the distortions, all of it, that's a direct broadcast from your default mode network. When you stare into that mirror with nothing else to do, your brain's screensaver kicks into high gear, and it starts projecting its internal chatter, its daydreams, its memories, its worries, maybe even its shadow, right onto your own face. And that really just leaves us with one final, very personal question. If the stranger in the mirror is a reflection of your own mind's default state, what does yours look like? And more importantly, what could you train it to become?